Hi, welcome to our channel Programming of Mind, where we accelerate your knowledge with concise, from high-value book summaries. Let's begin leading with heart, not just strategy in every successful journey. The role of relationships is undeniable. Those who build real influence and lasting impact do so by leading with heart, not just strategy. Lauren, a startup founder, shares how she almost lost her team by focusing only on numbers. Once she shifted to listening, caring, and showing up for her people as humans, everything changed. Productivity improved. Loyalty grew. Real leadership begins with empathy. It is not about being the smartest in the room. It is about making others feel seen, safe, and strong. Leadership built on connection lasts longer than any goal built in isolation. Listening more than speaking, the people who create deep influence are not always the loudest. Often, they're the ones who listen with intention. Nick, a community organizer, spends the first 30 minutes of every meeting just asking questions and listening. That practice helps him understand what matters most to the people he serves. Olivia, a therapist, says her job is not to give advice, but to help others hear themselves. She listens not just for words, but for emotion. In a noisy world, listening becomes rare. But that's what makes it powerful. When you truly listen, you build trust. And trust builds change. Mastering the power of questions, one of the most underrated tools of influence, is asking the right question at the right time. Emily, a manager, turned her whole team dynamic around by asking one question in every check-in. What's one thing I can do to better support you this week? That question opened doors to honest conversations. Josh, a mentor, often asks, what would you do if fear wasn't holding you back? That one question changes the way people think. Influence does not always require answers. Sometimes, the best influence is a question that awakens truth. Ask with curiosity. Ask with love. Ask to open, not to control. Creating safe spaces for others to grow, people blossom in places where they feel safe to be themselves. Great mentors create those spaces through presence, encouragement, and belief. Sasha runs a workshop for young artists and begins every session with the words, "There are no wrong answers here." That statement changes everything. Marcus, a basketball coach, makes it a rule that no one laughs at others' mistakes during practice. Over time, his players became more confident, more creative. If you want to inspire others, build a space where they are free to try, fail, and try again. That safety becomes soil for greatness. Giving without expecting anything in return, many mentors reach success not by asking, "What can I get?" but "How can I serve?" Maya, a designer, helped 10 small businesses build websites for free during the early days of her career. Years later, those same people became her biggest referrers. Daniel, an actor, offered free coaching to students in his neighborhood. That act opened doors to opportunities he never imagined. Giving creates connection. Giving builds trust. The return may not come right away, but it always comes. Give with heart. Give from abundance. What you send out returns multiplied. Choosing honesty over approval, real influence, comes when you choose truth over popularity. That kind of honesty may not always be easy, but it's powerful. Brianna, a consultant, lost a big client when she refused to lie about performance data. But that integrity earned her deep respect and long-term clients who trust her completely. Jason, a musician, turned down a record deal because it asked him to change his lyrics in ways that didn't align with his values. That choice kept his soul intact. The world does not need more people who chase approval. It needs people who choose what is right over what is easy. Respecting others' journeys without judgment, everyone is walking a different road. The best mentors understand that. They don't push their way as the only way. Instead, they support others with compassion and flexibility. Lily, a leadership coach, says she never tells her clients what to do. She helps them discover what they truly want. Jonah, a teacher, allows his students to shape their own learning pace. That choice has turned many struggling students into top performers. Respect is influence. When people feel accepted for who they are, They are more willing to grow into who they can be. Encouraging others when they can't see their worth. Many powerful leaders share that one of their most important roles is to be a mirror for others, to see their worth when they can't. Sam, a photographer, told his assistant every day, "You're more talented than you know." That assistant eventually became a creative director. Emma, a youth mentor, writes letters to her students reminding them of their strengths. Years later, many say those words changed their lives. A few words of belief can shift a person's identity. Be the one who speaks life. Be the one who reminds others of their light. Building relationships through shared struggles. Connection deepens when people walk through hard things together. Alex, a firefighter, says his strongest bonds were built not during the easy days, but during the toughest calls. Those moments created brotherhood. Clara, a nurse, shares how during the pandemic, her team supported each other through fear, tears, and exhaustion. Now they feel like family. If you want deep connection, don't run from hard moments. Step into them with others. Support. Share. Stay. What you build in struggle often becomes unbreakable. Showing up with presence, not just plans sometimes. What people need most is not a solution, but someone who simply shows up. No fix. No advice. Just presence. Jordan, a life coach, once sat with a client in silence for an entire hour. That space helped the client cry and begin to heal. Natalie, a friend to many, shows up at hospital rooms, funerals, celebrations, with nothing but her full heart. In a world full of fast solutions, presence becomes sacred. Be that kind of person. Influence is not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about just being there, celebrating others loudly, and often real leaders don't compete. They celebrate. They clap the loudest when others win. Isaac, a musician, shares other people's work more than his own. That generosity built a massive network. Eliza, a founder, starts every team meeting by shouting out 3 wins from others. Her team says it feels like family. When you celebrate others, you create a culture of abundance. There's enough success to go around. Lift others as you rise. The energy you send out returns to you in waves. Practicing radical responsibility in relationships. Strong connections are not built on blame. They are built on ownership. Zoe, a speaker, shares how her marriage shifted when she started asking, "What am I bringing to this conflict?" instead of "What is he doing wrong?" That one change created more love and less drama. Ben, a manager, stopped complaining about his team and started improving his leadership. The results were almost instant. Responsibility is not about shame. It's about power. When you take ownership, you become the creator of your outcomes, not the victim of them. Letting love be the driving force at the heart of every powerful mentor is love. Not romantic love, but love for people, love for growth, love for truth. When you lead with love, your influence multiplies. Amber, a teacher, says her job isn't just to teach, it's to love each student like they matter. And because of that, they start to believe they do. Omar, a business leader, says he asks one question before every decision. What would love do here? That question shapes everything. Lead with love. That's where legacy begins. Thank you for listening, and please like the video and subscribe for more great upcoming content that will put you in top 1% people in the world.